So now that we've spoken about what is a root, special cases of roots, and how I can go from power to root, we're going to be talking about situations where we have more than one root. Okay, and like we've said, a root is a power that is a fraction. So we'll see that the rules of roots are very, very similar to the rules of powers. The first thing that we're going to be talking about in roots is when we have an identical root. Okay, first we're going to talk about multiplication, then we'll talk about division. Let's start with multiplication. We'll start with the rule. The root of n, of a times the root of n of b equals a times b. I'll multiply my bases and I'll keep my root, okay? Throughout these exercises, the root will always remain the same, very similar to what happened with powers, when the powers remain the same. I'm going to prove to you that this is true by using powers. And we're only going to do it once, just so that you understand. You obviously don't need to do this during the test. So I can say that the root n of a is a to the power of 1 divided by n. I can say that this is b to the power of 1 divided by n. Now we've spoken about this in powers. When we have the same power, right, I times my bases, a times b, all to the power of 1 divided by n. And if I were to go back to roots, I would get a times b, all to the root of n. Okay, which is exactly our rule, exactly where we came from. Okay, so this is just so that you understand, but you definitely don't need to do it during the test. You just have to do the shortcut. So let's take an example. The third root of 2 times the third root of 3 times the third root of x. So my bases are not the same here, but my root is the same. And I have multiplication, so the root stays the same. Alt will be to the root of 3, and I'll have 2 times 3 times x, or 6x to the root of 3. Okay, so as this is an equation, we need to know how to work both ends of it. So let's say I have root to 12 and I want to show it in the light that includes a root of 3. I can split it up. How can I split it up? I can work from the other side of my equation, and I can say that my root 12 is my root n of a times b, and I can split it up into, let's say, root 3 times 4. Okay, which is interesting because I know what the root of 4 is. I know that it's 2, so I can actually say that this is 2 times the root of 3. Now I don't have to split it up into 3 and 4. I can also split it up into, let's say, root 2 times root 6. But we can tell that this situation is a little bit more interesting because we know the root of one of the other numbers. Okay, let's talk about this situation when we have unknowns. The second root of 4x to the power of 2. So again, I can split this up. I can say that it's root 4 times the root of x to the power of 2. So the root of 4 is 2 times x to the power of 2 with a root, cancels each other out, so I'll just have 2x. This was multiplication. Now we're going to look at division. This is the rule. The root n of a divided by the root n of b equals, I'll keep my root, it'll still be to the root of n, a divided by b, I'll divide my bases this time. Okay, so why is this so essential? Let's say I have this situation where I have root 20 divided by root 5. Now, I don't know the root of 20 and I don't know the root of 5. This is a situation where I don't know how to solve. However, because they have the same root, I can say that it's all, right, working from this side, it's all the root of 20 over 5. Now, 20 over 5 I know is 4. So now I'll have the root of 4. Now, we know that the root of 4 is 2. So from a situation where I didn't know how to solve, I did some sort of manipulation based on our rules, and I got to a situation where I did. Okay, working from the other end of the equation, let's say if I have the third root of 27 divided by 64, again, I don't know how to solve this. I don't know what 27 divided by 64 is, but working from the other side of my equation, I can figure it out, and I can split it up. 27 divided by, the third root of 27 divided by the third root of 64. Now this is already a familiar situation. I know the third root of 27 and I know the third root of 64. The third root of 27 we're supposed to remember is 3, and the third root of 64 we're supposed to remember is 4. So again, from an unknown situation, I use my rules to get to a familiar situation where I know how to solve.